the regular season finale as the Cardinals host the Champlin Park Rebels. Joe Yund and Bill Hupp up above the action, and a tough test for a Cardinal team that has struggled to score. A very stingy defense on the other side, sitting near the top of the conference.
Yep, Champlin Park comes in sitting third in the NWSA table. They've won 4 of their last 5 games. They played tight defense. Even in their losses, 3 of their 4 losses this year have been by 1-0 score lines. Cardinals, meanwhile, have lost 4 straight games, coming in 5 of their last 6. And the critical thing, Joe, they've only scored 1 goal in that run. So how will the Cardinals get on the board offensively? How will they get goals? That's going to be the key to whether they can hang with this really talented Rebels team.
Rebels will start with the ball. Cardinals senior captain goaltender Luke Rising rises to the challenge night after night.
And like most games, including that 2-0 loss to Park Center the other day that you called, he's going to have to do his best to keep this team in the game, most likely. But he's certainly someone, the 3-year starter, that the Coon Rapids team has really come to rely upon.
Well, and I expect to see Champlin Park similar to the Park Center team as far as just really good possession, and as I say that, they lose it out of bounds, but maintaining possession, passing well, building, keeping it away from the Cardinals, and just not giving them any sniffs at the net.
Yeah, no doubt. They're probably going to keep the ball. They're going to look to possess, keep their shape, and then try to get them where they can. But Coon Rapids has the ability with its speed up top to score on the counterattack, and that's where the Cardinals will try to hurt Champlin Park, who, as we said, is very, very stingy, very senior-laden back line, including Diego Connell, one of their captains, and goaltender Evan Martin, who's a multi-year starter for the Rebels as well.
Ibrahim on the near side moves it along for Reyes.
A lot of one-touch passing so far, and like we thought, keeping their shape, working the ball side to side, really making Coon Rapids move.
Cardinals able to win possession momentarily. Kamvonksik got in there and stole it back for the Rebels, trying to set up on the Cardinal side of midfield.
So it's going to be important, Joe, for Coon Rapids similarly to keep their shape. They're going to have, 10, 11 guys behind the ball and make themselves difficult to break down. They're going to force Champlin Park to try to break them down to score. And if they can do that, I think they're going to be able to stay in this game.
Cardinals able to stop up the momentum in deep, at least force Champlin back out near midfield. Sano through the middle, and it's lost to Rising. He'll have to scoop it up as the pressure comes.
Joe, what did you think of Park Center on Monday night?
The boys possessed the ball very, very well. They passed, they used the whole field, frequently brought it all the way back to their defensive line and reset, tried to spread the Cardinals out. It was, they had 2 goals that were waved off for offside. They brought a lot of pressure, built good scoring chances for themselves. And Coon Rapids, to their credit, did create a couple of scoring opportunities, but if you're only going to see the opportunities a couple of times a game, you need a perfect strike rate, which is something you can't exactly ask.
Yeah, you need to be really clinical with your finishing if you're only going to get, to your point, a couple of chances. And when you don't take those chances, as the Cardinals have not done lately, that's when they struggle to score, and that's when you're going to lose tight games. And so the Cardinals all season long have been in contests, but they have just struggled to sort of put teams away. They should have won that Anoka game here, but they allowed the Tornadoes to hang around. They didn't get that second goal, and then Anoka tied it up with less than a minute left to play.
Well, and goals have been at a premium for both Coon Rapids soccer programs over the last number of years. The girls have scored much better, especially of late, 13 goals in their last 2 games. But, the answers are so hard to come by. And I pre-game was talking with some parents up in the booth. This one headed but out of bounds, and it'll be a Cardinal goal kick. Talking about they're thinking too much, and that's, that weighs on you as an athlete. You know that you haven't scored in 4 games, and you only have one goal in your last 6.
It's an excellent cross there by the Rebels, but just before it went over the byline, but ultimately could not get much on the header there. But yeah, no. Sometimes you can pass it too much. You have to be willing to shoot, even when you think it's a long shot. You can't be too precious with your possession, especially when you know that you're a team that struggles to score. You got to be willing to let it fly.
Young in the middle, knocked to the turf. That'll draw the whistle. Another free kick for the Cardinals.
Jackson Young, the rare multi-sport star within seasons, as he has also become the place kicker on the football team, and done pretty adequate job for sure.
He's done a very nice job. He's the son of former Cardinal head coach John Young, who and I spoke with him about it one day when he was here waiting for Jackson to finish up football practice. When he was coaching, they almost always had a soccer player come kick for him on Friday nights. Maybe come to one practice a week, and on Friday night, come kick the ball.
So Blaine last year, or the last 2 years really, they had a boys soccer player, and they had Kendall Stadden, of course, the all-conference, all-state girls soccer player for the Bengals, share the kicking duties. Kendall was more of the sort of close range accuracy specialist, took the extra points and whatnot, and the other kicker for them, for the boys, would attempt things from like 30 yards out and more. So they definitely utilized that strategy to great success, particularly 2 years ago when Stadden was a junior.
Well, the Cardinals at least keeping the ball in the Rebel end the last 90 seconds or so, and a couple of shot attempts that were blocked a ways out. Not what I would consider a real scoring chance, but zone time is the first step to creating scoring chances.
Yep, no question about it, and good job by the Rebels defense to block those shots, but to have those looks in the first place, to have it enough, because we've seen Coon Rapids in some of their games this season, they've gotten the ball, but then it's just gone right back, right? They have not controlled the midfield. So if they can establish more of a foothold in the midfield this time, possess it, they'll be able to string together enough passes to get some looks.
Noah Akasip keeps it in on the near sideline. Rebels able to win possession back. Ibarra in the middle, long pass broken up by Austin Hacker. Skips right to Jackson Young, back to Hacker. Quickly pressured and pushed along by Ruilas.
Coon Rapids missing their head coach tonight. Unable to attend due to a family emergency, but hopefully that won't affect the Cardinals too much, as that program with the assistant coach in charge is they know what they need to do.
Young puts it all the way back down to the Rebel end anyhow. Champlin Park not afraid to work it back upfield. Now a long through ball off the head of Sano. Hacker gets it turned around for the Cardinals.
Yeah, it's very popular, Joe, for teams to play out of the back, so you'll see them pass back through their defense and through their goaltender or their goalkeeper just to keep possession.
Arthur in the corner, bumped off it by Kish, allowing it to roll out the end line and creating a goal kick for the Cardinals.
Played like a hockey defenseman there. Good job using his body to shield that one over the line. Textbook from Kish. Kish brothers, extremely important for the Cardinals team this year.
Well, Ben has been a big piece of this puzzle for the last 3 seasons. This whole senior group, I think, all pretty much started as sophomores. A couple years ago, this team was very, very young.
Right, and that continuity, Joe, is so important, right? Especially on the back line with Kish and Rising, because communication and that comfort, knowing what your teammate wants to do, is so critical. And again, the Cardinals, despite maybe not being quite as talented or whatever as some of the teams they've played, they've been able to stay in games because they have that sort of defensive solidity. Now they just got to search for the offense. Who's going to put the ball in the back of the net? And like you said, it's a problem that's existed for several seasons now.
Well, and again, Gavin Stevenson would have been their top forward had he not chosen to go play club soccer. Understandable that he made that decision. A little bit higher profile soccer and an opportunity to get maybe some more looks. I understand it. And the Cardinals, I'm sure, all understand it. And they know that they still have enough to compete and win, even against teams like Champlin Park that are toward the top of the Northwest Suburban.
And if you're toward the top of the Northwest Suburban like Champlin Park is, then you've got a good side for sure, because the NWSC's got the #1 team in state right now in Maple Grove, but it's a pretty deep conference in all sports, and boys soccer is no exception.
A little give and go along the left sideline, trying to get Kish, Adam Kish that is, down the sideline with speed. Played away out of bounds and out of danger.
Talked about this the last time I was here for the Anoka game. I really like these new kits. Was talking to Tyler Seidel about it, and said one of the assistant coaches designed them and stuff. They look really good. The stripes in the front.
Up close.
Yeah.
It's really hard to see the numbers from here.
That's fair.
But I frequently complain about jerseys. I'm not a huge fan of Champlin Parks. The basic, navy on white I get, but the number font could be bigger.
Yes. It's not conducive for TV, that's for sure.
Oh, on TV, I think it looks okay. But unfortunately, I try to watch the actual game and not the monitor. And for these old eyes, the front of those jerseys is a little difficult. I suppose it's a little difficult for TV as well. Corner kick upcoming. Lester Arthur will take it for Champlin Park. Goes near post. The header way early by Poston. Goes well wide of the post and out of bounds.
Yeah, at Champlin Park, you can see their strategy. They're trying to get the ball wide and then have someone cross it down the wings, but they're playing it down line into the channels, having their wings run onto it, their midfielders run onto it, and then get those crosses in. And the Cardinals holding their own so far. Champlin Park has probably had the better of the chances, both via headers, but have not forced Rising to make a save.
Again, Arthur trying to work down that left side and get a cross in deep. Cardinals able to deny it, not able to work their way out along the near sideline.
Those are the kind of turnovers or mistakes. I think maybe Jackson Young could have had taken a little more time and turned, but tried to get it right back and get a little give and go. It just didn't work out. How will the wind affect things too? That's the other thing, right? You can hear it in the microphones. It's a little chillier, a little windier down there than it has been.
Oh, it's 20 degrees cooler than it was Monday night when they played Champlin Park, and that was the late game. Maybe not quite that significant, but pretty close.
It was like, high 80s.
On Monday afternoon, yeah.
you see the Cardinals just dropping off, allowing Champlin Park to possess the football. Nice step there.
Derby Bone intercepts and clears.
And they're okay. They're okay inviting pressure onto them. They just have to know when to step and when to sort of intercept those passes. But they're fine letting Champlin Park dominate possession, which is, as we said, what the Rebels want to do.
Fearborn at the back. Will put a big left leg into it down the right sideline. Coming back to it was Konvoncic. In the middle, a shot blocked away by a Cardinal defender. Arthur kind of went down funny as he tried to stop up and play it back.
Yeah, that looks like a scary, almost one of those turf non-contact injuries, but good to see him up. Cardinals got to step on those shots when a Rebel is charging through like that. As we take a look at what happened, just tried to cut it back, and yeah, he got his foot stepped on.
Derby Bone stepped on his foot. That can't feel good.
No.
Oh, building in the middle. A chance and a goal. Kafima Sano finishes it off. He and Arthur were right there in the middle. And just into the 16th minute, Rebels are on the board.
And that was just Sano reacting to it quickly. Poor touch from Lester Arthur, just a little heavy, but it went right to Sano. So he just put himself in the right spot and was able to sweep it home.
Was it a little heavy, or was he setting it on a tee? Because he definitely teed it up.
It might have been.
It looked in the replay as if he was shielding the Cardinal defender as he touched it, and it was.
So he laid it off.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
He just and.
Well, we'll go with that. I wasn't sure if he just took a heavy touch and it just worked out for him, but I think you're probably right, Joe. That was intentional, and great assist from Arthur, though, setting up Sano.
Cardinals with a free kick. They could go direct from here, and they do, and a relatively easy save for Evan Martin as it came right at his chest.
And I was saying, when you have a hard time scoring, sometimes the best thing is to score off set pieces or to take advantage of set pieces, whether it's free kicks, corner kicks.
Well, and I've never claimed to be any sort of soccer strategy expert. But you talk about allowing them to bring the pressure, and when they get to midfield, I understand that philosophy. But especially when you have so much struggle scoring, when you have them deep, I would expect to see more pressure on the ball. And I haven't seen that.
Yep. Yeah, and you can soak up pressure and invite them onto you, but part of the strategy then is that you can hit them on the counter, right? Because all the Rebels are forward, and then you can counterattack and use your speed up top to take advantage. That's part of the idea behind conceding possession.
Sylvain serves it into the middle. Headed right back out by the Rebels. Arthur will tap it back to Ibrahim. And see, no pressure. There's a little bit of a step up at the end there by Keegan Anderson, and eventually they do turn it over.
Already the 5th foul on Champlin Park, as a great call there. Ibrahim just warding off and kind of getting in the way, and he knew exactly what he was doing as that ball
100%.
was traveling along the sideline. So again, here's one of those set piece opportunities now for the Cardinals.
Sauve from the near side. Right into the middle, punched away by the keeper, still alive. The Rebels headed out of bounds on the far side.
Great decisive defending by Champlin Park right there. Not a bad ball by Sauve. I like how Tom, the PA announcer, called him free kick specialist. AJ Sauve, and he did. He put a good ball. And Martin with a decisive decision. Didn't get a great punch on it, but enough to allow Diego Connell to rise and head it away.
Just about midway through this first half. That one well high and wide. And it'll be the first goal kick of the night for Champlin Park.
No, Sauve, I think, would like that one back. Those crosses, you have to have runners at the far post. You have to have targets in the box. Otherwise, it's just a waste. Great ball.
Pushed along by Ruilas. Sano fires, diving save.
Ooh, that was a dive. It was either a dive or it should have been a penalty.
It looked to me like Luke grabbed him.
Yeah,
Great save by Luke Rising on the initial shot from Sano.
Tremendous save. And then, yeah, did he get a piece as he was scrambling for that ball? My point is just that if you're not going to call it a penalty kick, it's got to be a dive because he went to turf. But yeah, the initial stop, sometimes you can direct it right into the path of an attacker. But Cardinals able to survive that one.
Sano working to the middle of the field, trying to cross over in front of Kish. They come together. Whistle sounds.
Oh,
Kish is going to be called for the foul, and this is going to be just outside the box. So not a PK, but
I wonder if he just called obstruction for stepping in the path of Ibrahim. Kish seems a little baffled by it. But yeah, Ibrahim, or rather Sano. Yeah, and he does just kind of get in his way. I've definitely seen that let go though before. So it's a little harsh from the ref, but Sano has looked really, really good so far.
Chase Poston will handle the free kick for Champlin Park. He'll go direct, punched up and out of play by Luke Rising.
Rising seems confused, like, I don't know why you let that go. They had no wall in front of them, which was unusual, but Rising perfectly positioned to just help it over the bar, and you could see Poston. He had the entire goal to aim for, and he went right at the keeper.
First corner kick attempt headed back out of bounds by Austin Hacker. And the Rebels will try again. And they'll just pass into a delay play for that back post. And just out of the reach of Diego Connell.
Yeah, that was a classic, Joe. That was a classic training ground move. You go short, and then you set up and you get a better angle. And sometimes the defenders, the purpose of going short right there is to loosen up the defense and have guys come out to you. So then, guys lose their marks and whatnot.
Connell may have gotten that ball with his hair. Yeah. It was that close.
Oh, it was served up on a tee to the back post, but Champlin Park didn't have anyone there.
Rebels back into possession just on their side of midfield. Ibrahim will bring it up to midfield. Try and push it through. Kish gets up and heads it back the other way. He'll get another chance, this time with the foot. And the Rebels stop it up near midfield. This time Connell is there. Cardinals will just send that one out of play. Jamel Yafondo checking in for Champlin Park.
pretty senior-laden team. About half of the starting lineup are seniors, pretty experienced, as we said, especially with Evan Martin in between the posts.
Hacker with a good step up, takes the ball away.
He is so fearless, Joe. It's fun watching him play.
Well, and he's another guy that's played since he was a freshman, and I mean, he's not the biggest guy out there now. He was even smaller as a freshman, and he had a broken arm or wrist, so he had a great big club on one hand, which looked extraordinarily large because he was smaller.
Yes, exactly. But he got after it, and yeah, he plays fearless, which you have to as a fullback.
Yafando gets through the middle, tried to get it on the backside for Kavansuk on the run. It's a big steal and clear.
Yeah, great recovery there by the Coon Rapids defense, as it was a nice ball, right idea. Sauve contributing on both ends. Rain starting to fall here at Cardinal Stadium. The umbrellas out beneath us.
Long ball to the top of the 18, set up for Sano. He was grabbed a little bit. Kish got away with that one.
The ref was right there. I'm not sure how he missed it.
Well, Sano went forward, and there was a whole lot of jersey behind him.
His jersey stayed behind. It was plain as day. We could see it up here with our old eyes. You notice
Kish able to body off Sano for the ball there.
He's such a good target man, though, in the middle.
He ends up right back in control of the ball.
Wow, that looked like another potential penalty for the Rebels.
Well, he got the ball first.
Well, desperate tackle, but a good tackle ultimately. I don't know.
Oh, he did
not.
I'm not so sure he.
I think two things. I think Safo tapped it past, or Sano tapped it past the defender.
Go to the back post on the corner this time. Still loose out front. Cardinals can't work it out. Another shot blocked by the defenders. Able to get it out the far side and force at least a throw-in.
Absolutely heroic defending. Again, just blocking shot after shot. They can't clear the danger, but you'll see multiple blocks in here. Great job by the Cardinals selling out to stop that.
Well, that was Connor Young in the middle there. Talking about being small but still fearless. If we had let that roll through, I think he had the block on the very next shot before they got it out the sideline.
Well, what we were saying before, I think Sano anticipated the tackle, tapped the ball away from the defender, but then the defender pulled out of the tackle, and Sano still kind of dragged his foot and went down. So a good no call by the ref. And the Cardinals still just trail it by a goal. Joe, it seems like Rising always has really good instincts about when to come off his line for those kind of long balls and whatnot. I haven't seen him make too many bad decisions when it comes to coming to get the ball. And he's aggressive enough that when he decides to come out, he comes out full force.
He's a hockey player.
Well, there you go. That explains it.
But I completely agree. There's no indecision when he decide when there can't be. Kind of like I was indecisive on exactly how I was going to say that.
Well, this game is, Joe, so far it's playing out kind of what we thought. Champlin Park's possessing the ball. They had a nice, well-worked goal. Coon Rapids is defending admirably, keeping it close, but just still looking for a few more offensive opportunities to test Evan Martin.
Jerry Freeman on the field up front for the Cardinals.
Good to see Noah Kossip out there now as well, making his first appearance.
Actually, that's Fidel DiQuamani up front,
replacing Freeman, and then Kossip is kind of sitting in the middle there, just behind the lone striker. And that's the kind of guy. Kossip scored a beautiful headed goal against Anoka off a corner. That's the kind of target man at 6'2" that you want.
I was going to say, he's noticeable out there. He takes up some space.
He does. Just a sophomore. You can still see he's pretty raw, but the skills are there, and certainly the athletic ability on those headed balls.
And you can't coach height.
No. Years of broadcasting have taught us that.
Yeah.
Champlin Park just so patient, working it side to side. They never, almost ever, take more than 2 or 3 touches with it before they get rid of it.
Jackson Young called for the push, and he's going to get a foul for kicking the ball away.
That's a needless yellow, and they're calling that kind of thing these days as a delay of game. They're trying to get that out of the game, so he'll have to take a spell on the sideline.
And it's hard to argue. You may have used a little. Can't do that. I think it should be allowed, personally. But where do you draw the line?
But you're a hockey guy, so
body checking is not legal in soccer. Yeah. Oh, header just went wide off the long free kick.
Yeah, steered at the goal there by beautifully by Cameron Peach, and you see Rising just rooted to the spot. There was no way he was going to save that, so Peach just couldn't sneak it inside that right post. Joe, I found out something interesting the other day when it comes to high school soccer rules. If a straight red is issued, the player leaves like it's a yellow card, but can return. You just have to take somebody off.
Huh?
That player that gets the red card is not, they're suspended for the next game, but they can continue to play in this game. They just have to go off for a play like it's a yellow card. And you as a coach can decide which piece of your
player?
team, which piece of your team. No, you have to play down a person, right? You have to lose a player, so it's 10 v 11. But that person who got the red card can finish the game.
Rising slides out, gets that one away.
This is obviously not how it goes for every other league I've seen.
Yeah, a little bit too much body contact on that one for Landon Wolf. We'll get them another free kick, and we've seen them getting creative on their set pieces and getting good chances.
But a great punch there by Rising to come off his line and claim that one. But yeah, you're right. They've run some training ground moves and they've done a couple different things, because what you don't want is to become predictable.
Back he goes to Fearborn. He'll take a little bit of time with it and now sweep it along for Ibrahim. He'll take his time. Plenty of room to look. Connected the pass with Rothermall, but Cardinals able to disrupt, at least get it back to Ibrahim.
That's the thing. If you sit back this much, Joe, you're just giving them time to pick out a pass.
Lester Arthur. A long through ball, too far, and Rising will slide out to scoop it up.
Good job again by the senior as they were looking to hit a cutting Diego Connell. Connell making a nice run. I mean, it seems like Champlin Park, they've got some real soccer IQ to them, making runs and knowing when to be unselfish with it. But the Cardinals keeper read it well.
Stolen away on the near sideline by Gulbranson, who got it at least out past midfield, at least momentarily.
And Joe, it just seems, I don't know how you feel, but the Cardinals' first 15 minutes had more possession. The field is tilting in the direction of the Cardinals' goal, especially the last 15, 20 minutes.
Just under 6.5 to play in the first half. Rebels on a goal in the 16th minute by Kafima Sano. Have that 1-0 lead. They're going to play it all the way back to Evan Martin. Ibrahim, long ball through the middle, stopped up by Adam Kish. Peach has it there, trying to work against Kish. Played it to the outside. Good battle for it by Sovey to steal it away. Sovey got it ahead as he was being tackled. The Rebels get it right back in. Ibrahim stops up, now plays it back for Poston. Pass ahead was cut off. Rebels able to get it stopped up. Settled by Arthur, got it to Poston. Poston marked closely. His pass is taken away by Austin Hacker. Poston a little slow to get up.
Hacker reads the game really well. Nice step there. He's had a couple times tonight where he's stepped well and intercepted the Champlin Park attack.
Taro trying to move it along. Hacker again disrupting things. Rebels work it back for Fearborn. Long pass to the far side. Connor Young stepped up to break that up. Again, Champlin will take it all the way back to their goalkeeper.
Well, Champlin, especially in the last 5 minutes or so, has probably had about 80% possession, 85% possession, but haven't been able to do much with it, as they're sort of being held in the middle of the field by Coon Rapids. Cardinals proving difficult to break down.
Connor Young on the far side gets it back for Noah. And now Austin Hacker. Set up there for Arthur. He'll take a little loop. And now chip it along off the back of Peach. Right back to Arthur. Here's Peach defending. Leaves it for Arthur again in the middle. Hounded by Kish. Gets it back to Ibrahim. Opportunity in close, but a save for Luke Rising.
That went right to Samba Joby off of a header from Coon Rapids trying to clear it, and Joby managed to kind of get a little volley to himself, but not much on the shot.
Young stops up with it. Tried to get it into the middle. DeQuamani took that one off the eyebrow. Just a quick wake-up call. Otero moves it along. Little jump over the ball by Peach. Just let it keep going.
Yeah, it's called a dummy in soccer, and usually you do that when you know a teammate's behind you, right? So that the defense freezes and the guy behind you can get possession. Another corner now coming up for Champlin Park.
Their fourth of this first half. Arthur, high ball to the back post. Off of Champlin Park head, out the far side.
Cardinals obviously hoping to get to halftime trailing by just a goal. And they've battled admirably. 16 minutes in, they find themselves down 1-0, but they've really scrapped these last 24 minutes to keep this a close game, as we exactly what we thought they would at the top of the broadcast. Effort is never a question with this Coon Rapids team.
As we reach the final minute of the first half, you talk about keeping it close. That we knew coming in that this is not a Rebels team that would probably blow the doors off of the scoreboard, but would make it very difficult to score. The Cardinals have had a couple of sniffs at the other end. As you had mentioned, it was before the midway point of the first half, probably within the first 15 minutes. And for the most part, this last part of the first half has been all Champlin Park.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And I would say the first 10 minutes, Coon Rapids was hanging tough and battling. The last 30 have been largely the Rebels, including that goal. But Coon Rapids will still get to halftime trailing by just a goal and still very much in this game.
And a long rumble of thunder off in the distance as the buzzer sounds. We should be back with the second half after this. You're watching Boys Soccer live on CTN. Back at the Cardinals Stadium, brief rain showers, a little bit of wind pushing through at halftime. Just one tally on the board. Park Center has spent some time down in this neck of the woods, but that one lone strike for Kafima Sano in the 16th minute. Cardinals got a couple of looks at the opposite end, but for the most part, it's been in Champlin Park's control. Sano, another good opportunity. Diving save by Rising.
Yeah, Luke Rising has definitely kept the Cardinals in this game, and then some dogged defending, blocking shots, getting their bodies in the way, selling out Connor Young a couple times. They've had a lot of set pieces and corners, but still just one goal.
Yeah, they've had a couple of those headers off of the set pieces that have gone just wide. So they're on the cusp of opening up a larger lead, but the Cardinals are right in this one, and all it takes is one bounce. We'll see what happens in the second half. It's after this on CTN. All right, Howie, take a look. Our opponents are on this side, and the Cardinals are over here. Where's the line of scrimmage?
Right here.
Good. So obviously the Cards want to get the ball downfield anywhere over here, and the other guys are pushing back this way over here. So one strategy would take...
Hey, Joe!
What?
Tic-tac-toe, I win!
Back at the sports complex, Cardinals start the second half with possession, but they will be going into the wind for this second half, trying to catch up, trailing the Champlin Park Rebels by 1. Oh, and spun away from Derby Bone. Cardinals can't keep it in on the far sideline.
Yeah, we'll see if the rain and wind affects play. It's not really significant enough where I would expect it to, but Champlin Park had to feel really good about how they finished that first half despite not being able to add to their lead. They really dominated and had were on the front foot the last 10 minutes.
Well, and the players probably like the cooler temps. Monday night was unseasonably warm. This is more the temperature they expected to play in. We'll see if that becomes a problem as the sun is getting below the cloud cover, and Luke Rising will be looking right into it in the second half. Here he's tested, and he's able to make the save.
Yeah, you see him with his hand in his eyes, basically, right before that shot. Great shot there, but why not take a rip from distance as Champlin Park and Carter Havelack did. Easy for me to say.
Poston trying to push it ahead, turned around by Derby Bone. Rebels able to win it right back.
Do the Rebels, Joe, from your eye, play similarly to Park Center?
Very. They probably work the ball more with their midfield and forwards and not as much with their defensive back line. A shot from in close, but it's off the side of the net. Goal kick upcoming.
Snow has gotten the best shots off today. One that Rising dove to his right and made a save on, and that one blasted into the side netting. Just didn't have an angle for it. But
and, of course, the one he scored.
Yeah, and the one he scored, yep, with his left foot.
Everything's been with his left foot.
True.
Not saying he can't use his right foot, but clearly left foot dominant.
Yep.
And it's a dominant left leg.
It is, yeah. He's a big kid. He presents a big target up top for this Champlin Park attack. And they go through him, so it ends up being a little more narrow. But they have been a threat, as we've seen on set pieces, just have not been able to put those headers on net.
Sauve's pass cut off by Poston. Poston in control, able to step around Jackson Young, get it ahead. Broken up again by Sauve. Young collides with Connell. Connell stumbled but came away with the ball.
Connell throwing his body around, and that time he gets whistled for it as he knocked over the slender Jackson Young.
And Sano was just trying to gain speed going around that left side, working it to his strong side.
Well, and you can hardly fault high school players for not being two-footed when there's so many professional players in the Premier League in England and whatnot that aren't two-footed. I've seen so many good players that are shockingly one-footed. Counterattack now for Champlin Park.
Good speed, played to the near side. The long run for Havelack. Havelack able to get around the corner in deep, trying to cross out front, went right between two different Champlin Park attackers. Had one right up on the post and one about 8 yards out.
Great cutback by Havelack, just did not find the feet of a teammate.
Ibrahim's cross was blocked out of bounds. Another corner kick upcoming, and they continue to get to work on their set pieces.
He didn't quite need to drag it to the end line because he got a step, and he got the defender on his hip, and that allowed him to.
Kish got ahead to it first. Stopped up. The cross from Arthur was just behind Kamvangsuk.
And I believe it took a deflection, Joe, which is why it was behind Kamvangsuk. But yeah, a couple Rebels had a crack at it, but just not on target. Great job by the Cardinals. Anything you can to get a block in on the crosses and the shots.
Young's pass broken up by Poston, leaves it back for Kamvangsuk. Connell will play it back to Ibrahim at midfield. Connell working against Adam Kish into the middle. One touch back. Kamvangsuk had a header on it. Cardinals got a touch. Sauve's pass bounces away from Young and right to Poston. In the middle, Ibarra. Challenged. And a good clear from Derby Bone. A good ball behind, but now they're going to say it was offside as Lester Arthur was there. He did put it in the net, but offside, and the Cardinals will keep it a 1-0 lead.
see the replay here, and that is not offside. That was onside, and that should have been a goal for Russell. He timed that one perfectly. Cardinals catch another break. It was close, but he was decidedly onside.
Well, and it seemed on Monday there were a couple of questionable ones, including one of the goals that was taken away from the Park Center boys team, where it was the same kind of thing. When the ball was struck, there was a defender downfield. But when the ball got to that last line, diving save by Rising.
Rising with really strong hands there, Joe. Diving to his right to make that stop. And a lot of times on a shot that hard, you spill a rebound. But he didn't right there.
It was a rifle from Poston.
Oh, yeah, Poston got his laces behind that one, as they say.
Kish able to keep it away from Sano. Pokes it ahead. Will give and go. Adam Kish had to wait on a bouncing ball. Tipped into the corner. Ben Kish gets around the corner. Cross was blocked. A chance for Adam Kish. He fanned on it. Two Cardinals run into one another out front. And the Rebels going back the other way. Long ball. Sano behind the defense. Cardinals trying to catch up. Sovey disrupts a little. Kept in bounds by Sano, and the Cardinals cleared out the far side. Great job getting back by A.J. Sovey.
Oh, they needed him too, absolutely. If anything, I thought that one might be onside. I was looking at the side official to see,
there was a
ref to see if the flag would go up, but it didn't.
Well, and there was one like that too on Monday night. I didn't know if it didn't. Opportunity and a goal for Ibarra as he got it in the middle and did not miss.
That was very well worked by Champlin Park. Again, right down Main Street, just a little give and go off of Sano. He just lays it off, and Caleb Ibarra, the junior, made no mistake from the top of the box. And this goal, let's be honest, was coming the way that Champlin Park had been attacking the goal. Sano turning provider on this one. Well, they're teaching, Joe, and I don't know if they're teaching it at the high school level, but I know professionally they're teaching them to keep their flag down so they're not waving off goals incorrectly. But in the professional, they have video assistant, review.
Sure.
Here they don't, so I don't know why they would tell them to keep their flag down.
And I was going to say before the goal is there was one like that where it was a long through ball from the defensive end, and the forward was clearly 10 yards behind the defender when the ball was struck. If it is done from your half, does it mean there's no offside?
Oh, I don't think so. I don't think offside is waved off, but that's why I think that sounds just like a refereeing mistake, because maybe the focus was on the other part of the field and the play that was happening there. Champlin Park really on the front foot now, really buzzing after getting their second goal and coming close on a couple others. It really should have been their third goal, as they were robbed of a goal by Arthur Russell on a beautiful little connection. That's so unselfish with their through balls. Excuse me, Lester Arthur. What did I call him, Arthur Russell? That's their running back. You can tell.
Yeah.
You can tell I'm prepping for Champlin Park football this weekend.
I'd like to be prepping for Maple Grove football on Friday.
Yeah, what's the deal with that?
I don't know. They have their own broadcast partner over at Maple Grove Stadium. Is the word we're receiving? It's their property. In close, Sano trying to tap it home. Saved by, I think that was Sovey again. In the right spot, Kish to Kish on the give and go, and then that pass got away a little bit, interrupted by Fearborn. And here's Ibarra with a little room to move.
Champlin Park, we talked about that they're comfortable playing close games and they're not usually blowing people out, but they have had a few opportunities to really put this one away here in the second half.
Bone can't clear. Hyatt slips it back to Austin Acker. Hacker will get it ahead as he takes a shot from Sano, and that leads to another free kick on the foul.
Side the Nat Mikes picking up the Champlin Park girls team as we take a look at the last chance for Centennial. Again, who's involved but Sano.
See, even there he used his left foot.
He did. Well, and it's like he tried to cross it, but there was only a Coon Rapids defender in front of goal.
Well, you know, sometimes you put it near the net and good things happen.
Yeah, what's the hockey axiom? I know we keep coming back to hockey, but put it on net, puck's on net, right?
Good things happen when you shoot the puck at the net.
Yeah. Now, that holds true all the time, right? Not just when a team is struggling to score goals?
Correct. Correct.
Because it leads to rebounds and chances. And
When all goals are scored at the net.
that is a fact. I don't know much about hockey, but I know that.
Yes, the puck must go into the net. So it starts with getting it there. Same scenario in soccer. Of course, there's so many more defenders, and things get so jammed up in there. But it is fun to watch good soccer teams that coordinate and move the ball well and set things up. The perfect kick off the corner, hooking in for Elijah Ibrahim.
The banana goal, Luke Rising can't believe it. But Ibrahim bends it in with the left foot, and that makes it 3-0, and that's going to be tough for Coon Rapids to come back from. What a goal. I can't wait to see this again.
Bending it like Beckham.
No doubt. Didn't get a touch. Rising, he just snuck it in at that near post. That's one of the goals of the season.
That was
right there. Wow. Special from Ibrahim.
That was very well executed. I was looking out as he kicked it, and I saw the loft and the amount of. I was looking out to the middle of the top of the 8 box for who was getting positioned to receive, and then noticed out of the corner of my eye, as Luke Rising may have, that thing was bending into the net.
Yes.
And that'll give the Rebels a 3-0 cushion. Cardinals very little possession time this half. That shot blocked in close. Austin Hacker had it momentarily. Rebels able to regain control. Fearborn gets them some distance, a little breathing room.
Joe, if you ever see that again in a broadcast, it's called an Olympico, where it goes in from a corner without another player touching it. So Ibrahim with the Olympico from the near side to make it a 3-goal advantage for the Rebels.
Ibarra in the middle, pushed by Young, and
you can sense a little frustration now with the Cardinals. They hung tough in that first half, but Champlin Park has really found a footing in this game, and it could have been worse. Luke Rising has made, again, several tremendous saves to keep this one a game.
Well, the Cardinals going into the wind, into the sun, and trying to climb out of a 3-0 hole.
And uphill, proverbially speaking. Not surprised right there that Poston tried to go for goal, but it was always going to have to be special. And I don't think you can fault Rising too much. I mean, who expects someone to go to try to bend it in at the near post?
Right.
And he almost got a finger to it, but he's out there playing for the header in the middle of the goal, and then all of a sudden he sees it bending, and he's like, shoot, that's going to sneak in at the near post. But that's part of the reason why strategically sometimes you'll put defenders on each post, and it's to prevent things like that from happening. Well, this Champlin Park team, Joe, you can tell why they're third in the Northwest Suburban Conference. They're pretty balanced, and they don't seem to have too many weaknesses in any part of the pitch.
Post and long boot cross into the corner.
Great switch.
Therefore, it was Lester Arthur. Had to look and remind myself whether it was Lester Arthur or Arthur Russell.
Yeah, you're going to screw that up at some point in this half, and it's going to be my fault. And I believe, not having called the Champlin game this year, but last year, that Arthur Russell is heavily involved in the Rebels offense for football.
Yeah, he is a nice. He had a huge kick return as well against the Cardinals during that crazy last 4.5 minutes, in which there were 4 touchdowns, 2 onside kick attempts, 1 successful. There was a blocked extra point, and then there was that kick return of about 85 yards to inside the 5-yard line. It was impressive.
Well, I think, the record aside,
this one headed up and over by Sano. They had a lot of white jerseys out there, too.
They did. Sano with a free header, and he should have done better with it. As you see, great ball by Ibrahim putting it on a plate for him, and he just couldn't keep it down.
Well, you see 4 attackers there, all waiting for that ball to come to him.
What I was going to say is, for better or worse this year, the Coon Rapids Cardinals football team is like big play central. It's big plays every game all over the place.
It has been fun to watch.
Obviously, Kaijan responsible for many of them.
Yeah, it did not factor into the game against Anoka offensively. He had 1 really impressive punt return for a touchdown that was called back on a hold, and he had 1 fantastic interception with a return. Now, the Cardinal defense came up with 4 interceptions in that game, 2 late in the 4th quarter, and twice the Cardinals got to goal-to-go situations, and they were not able to punch it in. End up losing by 6.
What did you think of that junior? Is he a junior or a sophomore for Anoka, their quarterback?
Padani?
Yeah.
Is very good. He is very good. And I think he had his lowest output of the season against the Cardinals. It was kind of a weird game. And of course, because I was running a camera and not commentating, my memory isn't quite as clear because I experienced it in a different way than I'm used to.
Sure.
But he is a really nice quarterback, to be sure, and they've got athletes on that team. I can see why they started out 3-0. Their schedule was favorable too.
Sure. Yeah, Podani, they've had a couple good quarterbacks there recently, and some good wide receivers. One of whom is a Division I wrestler, I believe.
This one played ahead, and here's Arthur behind the defense. Didn't get a lot on it, and Rising makes the save.
Unbelievable ball by Diego Connell right into the path of Lester Arthur, and he just couldn't finish, but just played it beautifully right into the path of that striker, and he just couldn't get much on the shot. I think.
Well, and I think Sano looked at him and said, "Come on, man, use your left foot."
Or pass it to me, and I'll use mine. Yeah, good dummy there by by Arthur. I'm just going to call him Arthur, and then my bases are covered.
Ibarra stepping up. Great slide tackle by Sauve.
Yeah, one thing I've noticed about the Cardinals' defense is just not on the same page right there is they are really good at timing their tackles. And, the slide tackle can be very dangerous in today's game if you don't get the timing right. But more often than not, Kish and Sauve and Jackson Young do. Some frustration up top from the Cardinals that they're hanging back, wanted more red and black jerseys up top. Ben Kish getting a little frustrated.
Well, and normally a defenseman, they feel desperation. You got to put your players up front. try and get you on the board. And again, it's been a long couple weeks for the Cardinals without a goal.
They have not scored since September 21st. Another great ball.
And a good chance, a save by Rising as Havlik was right on the doorstep.
This time with his feet. Unbelievable. Luke Rising just, certainly could be a lot worse than the 3-0 it is right now.
Arthur trying to work through traffic, right to left. Sends it back toward the net, and Rising lays down and grabs it.
Well, the Cardinals know that, Sano and Russell like to go to their left, they want to work right to left. But easier said than done to keep them off their left foots. Was that game, Joe, the Anoka, was it at Goodrich or here?
No, it was here.
It was here, okay.
Yep, and the Cardinals took the opening drive right down the field. It was 3rd and goal at the 1. They soaked up almost half of the first quarter, and that's when it was called for the Lightning in the area. Resumed on Saturday morning, and Cardinals led 21-8, but Anoka came back and got the win.
Tough losses between that and STMA. Cardinals could be.
Yeah, and the St. Michael one definitely got away from them, but
oh yeah,
I would say that one more so. That was 21-3 at half.
This week, St. Michael got up 29-8 over Champlin Park. Champlin Park scored a couple touchdowns, in the fourth quarter to make it look more respectable. But
yeah, that was a big win for St. Michael Albertville. And now in that Metro North, you have 3 teams at 4-1. 4 teams at 2-3, and 1 team Osseo at 0-5.
So a lot to still play for.
Well, and because going into last week's play, it was 3 teams at 3-1 and 2 at 2-2. So there was only 1 game separating 1st to 6th place.
Great tackle by Young to take it away from Sano.
Yeah, it's hard to get fired up when you're down 3-0. You haven't had the ball on your foot much. You've been defending all half.
It's tiring and frustrating. No, absolutely. And when you're struggling to put the ball in the back of the net, the other thing, Joe, too, is when you're struggling to score, you're keenly aware of that as a team, and you know defensively that your margin for error is next to nothing.
Right. It's a great stop by Connell.
Yeah, Connell and Poston, have been 2 of the more impressive players. Not surprising, they're wearing the captain's armbands for a reason. But they have been particularly impressive here for the Rebels, obviously along with Arthur and Sano. Do we have a sense of who the Cardinals might play or still too early to determine that?
I haven't looked at all. I suppose I could probably find that out.
Looks like they're going to sub the goalie, get the backup, Isaac Rolling on. He's waiting down below along with Cameron Peach.
He's hard to miss. I suppose it's the same neon that Evan Martin is wearing.
Yeah, and he's pretty tall too. Yeah, it's pretty rare. They talk about that Maple Grove game. It's pretty rare when CTN is not able to broadcast a Cardinals football
game. Yeah, and this will be the second time this season we weren't able to do the Centennial game either.
Yep.
Because they have North Metro is technically their home broadcaster. I get that.
Hopefully we gave you the broadcast clips at least to use on Sports Night. Hopefully North Metro did, I should say.
Yeah, they did. And I don't know about the Crimson Sports Network.
Never heard of it. So that was news to me as Sano comes out along with Havlack. You see Rolling taking over, so some well-deserved rest now as we're inside of 15 minutes to play. Regular season wrapping up for both teams. Coon Rapids, I believe, just one or two more. I believe the girls, it's the last regular season game.
This is the last for both.
For both, okay.
Yep. This is the regular season finale for all 4 teams tonight.
Okay.
So it looks like probably Blaine.
Whom they'll see in a couple weeks. Or, no, they'll see
Will be next week.
Yeah, next Thursday.
Tuesday, I believe, the first round. You could be right. I think it's Tuesday. Though.
Are we talking soccer or football?
We're talking soccer.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because you asked who they would get. So I believe it will be Blaine. Yes, Blaine football will be next Thursday.
Yes.
But I believe the boys soccer team, just based on the Minnesota Sports or MinnesotaScores.net, which does the QRF, which most sections kind of go by that to eliminate the coach voting. I think coach voting still factors in a little bit, but just based on that, they'd be number 7 to Blaine's 2 in the section.
Bengals having a tremendous year this year. What about for the football team? Still too early to determine?
Yeah, I think that will be too early to tell, and it's really weird because they do the crossover at 6A. So, wherever the Cardinals end up, I would guess they're going to be a 4 or 5 seed.
And they're back in 6A this year.
Yeah. Yeah, well, they've played in the 6A tournament the last 2 years.
True, Prior Lake last year.
Yeah.
Gave the Lakers a heck of a game.
Well, in Eden Prairie the year before that was a tough one. Jared Fearing, that's where he hurt his knee, was in that game at Eden Prairie. But because they do the crossover section 5 to 6 or whatever. I haven't really looked into it, but I want to see him finish strong. They got 3 games left. Maple Grove's going to be incredibly tough this Friday. I think Blaine and I'm trying to think of who they finish with. Farmington, that's it. I wanted to say Hutchinson, and I knew that was wrong.
Yeah, those are coin toss ones. Blaine 2-3 on the season, been without their starting quarterback in Frank Daniels most of the year.
I'll go out on a limb and say this is the first time in a long, long time that the Coon Rapids Cardinals beat the Blaine Bengals in football.
I think that's not a bad bet. I'll be joining the broadcast for that, doing sidelines.
Homecoming.
Would that be senior night as well? Or is that not the last home game? It is, right?
That is the last home game, yeah, because Farmington's on the road.
Well, hopefully you'll be able to do the Farmington game, because that is a peach of a facility.
Is it?
Really nice. Really, really nice.
Well, I was just going to say, why couldn't Farmington have the Farmington Sports Network? We couldn't be allowed to do that one, but we'd get the Maple Grove one because Maple Grove's closer.
Right. Well, Farmington does have its own broadcast network, but my buddy is the one who runs it.
Oh.
And his policy is usually a quid pro quo, right? So if Coon Rapids hosted Farmington, as long as Farmington was then allowed to broadcast, from Coon Rapids, he's usually fine with it.
Cardinals getting it in deep. Going to see if they can get a chance on this brand new keeper. This one's redirected and just going wide.
What an effort there from Edwin Boyce. Really, really good job just keeping it up.
Volleyed it to himself a couple of different times, and that one redirected just wide.
And he'll have done better, right? Because he had the whole net, but he just went off the side of his foot, had enough side spin where it carried past that left post. And in these kind of games where, you know, it doesn't look like you're going to win, at least getting a goal, especially the way the Coon Rapids team has played.
A goal would mean a lot to this Cardinal
really
team in this final game of the regular season. Got a lot of deeper bench players getting an opportunity to play both sides late in this game, knowing it's the last game of the regular season. But yes, the Cardinals would love to score. They have not felt that goal celebration in a long time. And to get that monkey off their back before going into playoffs would be big.
And it's such a confidence game, right? And you know, it's no different than any other sport with a similar pursuit where you just want to see that ball go in the back of the net, and if it does, you feel that much better about things.
Boyce is coming out and trying to make things happen. A good job getting around the corner and cross in deep.
At that point, it's not a bad idea to give it a rip from distance. Because again, you're down 3-0. You need to throw bodies forward.
Peach trying to get around the corner, denied by Ben Kish, but out the end line. So another corner kick coming up for Park Center.
It's actually going to be a throw-in on the. Well, no, they're going to call it a goal kick. Champlin Park looks.
Well,
set
the Cardinals
to
will take that.
Yeah, absolutely. So Colmani will move up top. Boyce will move in front of him in that central midfield role. And Colmani scored the lone goal of the game against Maple Grove.
Sauve with a good steal along the side, but then swept off his foot by Joseph Seth. Good opportunity out front almost for Rothermall. This long shot is going wide.
They have pulled most of their senior starters and captains at this point with the game well in hand. Coon Rapids has put up a fight in section play the last couple of years. Have come out on the short end, but I've had the chance to call a couple of those games, and they have battled. I believe last year losing 1-0 to Centennial. I think I have that right.
I'm not going to dispute it.
We'll go with that. Maybe Mike Peterson in the truck can verify that.
Mike was our stats champ on Monday night, coming up with some great historical knowledge. Here's Boyce again, cutting through defenders until being ridden off. Then the steal right back for a Cassup. Long shot in, and it's handled easily by Isaac Rolick.
And again, at this point, the goal changes, right? You don't worry as much about you losing shape. You're trying to, great hustle by Ben Kish on that tackle. You're trying to throw bodies forward and get goals. So because it's sort of academic whether you lose 2-0 or 4-0.
Yeah, that one goal would carry a lot more weight beyond this game than it would in this game.
And it's a bigger deal, right? Because you don't want to go into the playoffs on a significant pointless streak, right? Having gone, what, 5 games straight without scoring a goal.
Well,
It's just not something you want to do.
Yeah, 4 in a row coming in. 5 of their last 6 lost by shutout. And the game in the middle was that 1-0 win we talked about earlier. Yeah, Luke Rising, and I mean, he's got, I think, 4 shutouts this year. One was a nil scoreless tie.
But having just done a game myself between Centennial and Spring Lake Park 4-4, I know how potent that Panthers offense can be. So that's maybe their best shutout of the year. SLP, just a 500 team, but they do have some potent scorers up top between Abdul Akinola and Maid Medic.
Well, and I want to say, too, I think he had saves in the teens in that game. You know, it's not like he had a two save shutout.
Sure.
He was busy.
As he is most games, as he has been tonight.
Under 3.5 to play.
You know, it's really interesting. You do not see that many goalies, throw the long ball like that. They seem to either punt it or try to play it out the back, roll it short to their fullbacks. But that long throw, if you can master it, if you can get really accurate, it can lead to a very quick counterattack. Yeah, how did last year's tournament end? I think they lost 1-0.
Cross pass, and here all alone at the back door is Joey. Saved by Rising, point blank. Rebound not cleared. Shot in the middle by Ifondo was blocked. Rebels keep bringing the pressure. Back near side for Joby. Now crossing. A header out front that's going to go wide and out of bounds. Off the head of Cameron Peach.
And just to set the record straight, because we're an ethical bunch here at CTN, Mike Peterson has informed me that the Cardinals season actually ended at the hands of Duluth East, 5-0 last year. Not 1-0 to Centennial.
I like the 1-0. I like the 1-0 score better.
That might have been 2 years ago in the section semifinals. The years start to blend together a little bit. I don't have to tell you that, I'm sure.
Cross was in way tight and an easy scoop for Luke Rising.
I wonder, I would love to know how many pairs of siblings or groups of siblings you and Howie have called over the years.
Oh, lots and lots.
Dozens.
We have seen second generations come through. We've seen a lot of former athletes go on to become coaches in the area.
Mike Peterson reliably informs me that 2 years ago, it was 2 years ago, where Coon Rapids fell in the section semis 1-0 to Centennial. So I just got my years wrong. It was a year early.
That's better than I could do, I'm sure. Whether a kid graduated from here 3 years ago or 23 years ago, they all seem the same to me.
So Mike Peterson is a stats extraordinaire, as we know, from Monday and then today. But
the brothers,
I'm not sure the
siblings?
siblings thing, that may be a step too far.
It'd be a lot to try and track down. I can tell you it's a lot.
Yes.
I mean, the Kish brothers, I assume, is part of the reason why that came up. But you got the Kish brothers and the Young brothers playing in tonight's game.
And the siblings on the different teams, too, girls and boys siblings.
Oh, sure. Yeah, we have seen a generation or so go by. I don't know how they define one generation from the next when you call it that way, but
multi-generation.
the final seconds finally tick off, and the Cardinals will finish the season with their 4th straight shutout loss. 3-0 the final. Champlin Park Rebels notch their 9th win of the season and keep that Cardinals scoring drought continuing on into the postseason.
Yeah, tough one. Cardinals had some chances early, but then Champlin Park did what they do. They possessed, they settled into the game, they played some really nice football and some really nice soccer, and you know, once they kind of settled in and took control of the game, they really did not let up. It looked really good, particularly in the second half, and there wasn't much that Coon Rapids could do. Edwin Boyce, a little spark off the bench, but ultimately that scoreless streak carries on into the playoffs, and you know, Tyler Seidel and staff have some work to do to try to get this Cardinals attack going.
Well, we will be there when the Cardinals hit the playoffs. We may have to decide once brackets come out as far as which one we will do, if boys and girls are at different facilities. But we have the soccer playoffs on the schedule. Prep football still a big question mark. No answers today. Getting nervous. We may not be there. But soccer playoffs next week, and bowling coming up next week as well. But that's going to do it for this edition of CTN Sports. Again, the final score, Champlin Park 3, Coon Rapids 0. Want to thank everybody out there for joining us and continuing to support everything we do here at CTN. For the entire crew, including Bill Hupp, I'm Joe Young, saying good night. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Cardinal Sports Complex for CTN's live coverage of girls high school soccer. It's the regular season finale as the Coon Rapids Cardinals host the Champlin Park Rebels. Joe Young, Bill Hupp up above the action, and Bill, two-game win streak for the Lady Cardinals. Grace Stevenson, 3 goals, 3 assists on Monday in the 9-1 rout over Park Center. And they'd love to make it a 3-game streak going into the playoffs.
Yeah, Ben Benson's bunch are popping up. 13 goals in the last 2 games. As you said, both of them wins. They're up to 4-10-1 for a record on the season. Now they place another 1-9 team in conference play in what should be a really, really compelling game. And again, it'll be all about if they can score, right? They've scored 5 goals total in their 10 losses and 1 draw. But like we said, their offense is popping right now. And you have to imagine, Joe, that the Cardinals and Ben Benson are just loaded with confidence right now.
Well, and they're facing a team that's similar, 4-10. They won 2 to start the season, lost 10 in a row, and now they're coming in off of back-to-back wins. But they've had their struggles, have the Rebels, throughout the season to score goals. So could be, a good matchup between 2 equally matched programs.
Yeah, like I said, both coming in sitting in 10th place in the conference, 1-9 records identical. So you expect to see a good matchup under the lights, and hope for everyone's sake on this cool evening that the rain holds off, unlike in the boys' contest.
Well, it looks like the skies have cleared out, and the winds have actually died down a bit from what they were in the second half of that boys' game. Cardinals will start with the ball going left to right, wearing the black unis. Champlin Park, obviously, in the white.
Traditional white and blue.
And it makes such a big difference, the top to bottom in this conference, because it's a larger conference, and the schools, obviously there's some really large schools and some that are not quite so large.
And we've got an early injury, and that does not look good. I believe it was a non-contact injury
and that's
on the turf.
Kaylin Green, and she's a big part of this puzzle too. Ooh, knee to knee.
Oh,
not good.
That hurts. And she is down. The trainers obviously attend to her. And I said it was non-contact before I even seen the replay, but there was a lot of contact there. That always hurts.
Yep,
and that was almost like a shin.
Well, I would hope for her sake. What I saw, it looked to me like it was knee to knee, and her knee may have hyperextended a little bit. But I'm no doctor. I'm not. It looked like it bent the wrong way, and hopefully she's going to be okay, and it's not going to be anything serious.
Yeah.
Especially at this point in the season. Kaylin had a couple of goals in the game on Monday. Had 2 assists in the goal, the win over Cambridge Isani on Saturday.
Yeah, she should be a big part of this team moving forward, just a sophomore.
Yeah, and multi-sport athlete. She's a big part of the girls' basketball plans this fall or this winter as well. So that season right around the corner, and that could be a cause of concern for Coach Chris Bierman and his staff as well. And
barely can put weight on that right leg, but it's good to see her up. As that replay, it's one of those replays you only need to see once. What's her best position in basketball?
She's a guard.
Okay.
And she's a very solid player. She was a consistent contributor last year as a freshman. Ran into Coach Bierman on the way out of the facility the other night, actually. After the football game was canceled, I think is when we saw him. but it might have been Monday after the soccer games. We were talking to him, and he was pretty excited about what they have coming in this year. But that young lady is a big part of their plan. I assume that was their plan or is their plan for the point guard position. But we certainly hope she's okay much sooner than that. Maybe even back tonight. But don't push it either.
I was going to say, the way she's walking, I'd be surprised if we see her again tonight. But so to have that happen in the first 45 seconds of the game, Cardinals have to shake that off and recover. And the knee-to-knee, the knee-to-knee is not fun either. There's a reason they've outlawed that in hockey.
Yeah, and Kalen was just being aggressive, going after the ball, trying to put it on net, and on the follow-through runs into the defender. And again, hopefully she's going to be okay. An opportunity for Champlin Park early on.
Great save.
Turnaround shot there by Amara Easley, and Stella Bone reaches out and gets a piece of it.
And that was a desperate piece because that was going in, I believe, as Easley, it deflected off a teammate, and Bone just gets a fingertip to it in order to turn it around the corner.
Corner kick upcoming. Low drive off the side of the net.
It's been pretty impressive to see Stella Bone's growth as a goalie this year. She was good last year, got that experience, but you can just see her kind of growing in confidence and savvy with each game. Just a sophomore, but just someone who knows where she is in the goal and knows how to play, makes the right play more often than not.
And also runs cross country in the same season.
Does she really? Mm-hmm. Didn't know that. She definitely has more of the cross country runners. She's not
physique.
Super tall, right? She's built like a runner, right? But yeah, I imagine she's pretty good at that too.
Yeah, she was one of the top finishers for the varsity when she was in middle school. I don't know how much time, how many races, events she's been to this year. But, when you're trying to play two sports in one season and you're the goalkeeper for the soccer team, pretty important that she be here for them on their game days.
I was going to say, I'm not sure how you have time to do both, but I suppose some kids, kickers do soccer and football, so it's technically allowed. But pretty impressive. You have to have some excellent time management to pull that off. Good block. I believe that's Sophie Bakri, and she is, just ever-presence. Sophia Bakri. Such an important player for this Cardinals team.
Grace Stevenson getting hauled down.
There's another set of siblings. Grace Stevenson and her brother, as we talked about him in the boys' game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Stevenson really had a great night on Monday night. She got the first two goals of the game, and then the rest of the night you could tell every time she got the touch, she was taking it wide. She was keeping her head up. She was looking for teammates. She was trying to distribute. Ended up getting 3 assists, I believe, and then scored the last goal of the game as she just said, I want to finish the hat trick.
3 goals and 3 assists. That's a night.
Yeah. She was kind of all over the place. And again, Park Center, a team that just didn't have much going for it. Coon Rapids did a great job of keeping possession. They were allowed a little more time and space than they're used to seeing in this schedule, so they were able to work with it and make it pay off. And it was a lot of fun to watch them because they were celebrating their senior night. Had 5 5 of the 6 seniors, I think it is, on the roster got goals. So
That's always fun. Does Grace Stevenson play any other sports? Why do I think she's a hockey player?
I don't believe she, not that I know of for sure. I don't believe is a hockey player. Don't think she plays basketball. I think she runs track, so she is a multi-sport athlete. But I think it's just soccer and track. Please forgive me if I'm wrong, Stevenson family.
Stevenson family, big supporters of Coon Rapids soccer, obviously very involved in the boosters, from what I've been told.
Well, and Grace is, they've got a senior class that is going to be certainly missed. Her and Anna Langworthy, those two especially are going to be hard to replace. They've been big contributors. Izzy Allen, I suppose, as well. Big contributors for the last several years. So they've got they're going to have some holes to fill, but they've got good leadership this year going into the playoffs, and they're hoping, again, that they can try and get something going here tonight and go in with a 3-game win streak. One of these teams will go into the postseason on a 3-game win streak. Of course, now that I say that, they could end in a draw.
3-game unbeaten run?
There's that.
So we'll go with the...
See what the Cardinals do with this free kick. Not a bad spot for it. Bakri will line it up for the Cardinals. Stopped up out front, comes back to Bakri. She boots it right on goal.
That had some sizzle to it.
Keeper had no problem with it. That's Sophia Lehman.
Didn't get all the way through, and then it came out to Bakri, and she lined it up and really tested Lehman.
It was a laser.
Another injury in front of the, I believe it's a head injury is what the head coach
Well, I think
so did Easley. Amari Easley took the worst of that as well.
Easley came together with Bailey Rao.
Yep.
There you go, some coaching.
Yes.
Free of charge.
That's right. Courtesy of the head coach for Champlin Park.
I love the approach. Does that make sense?
Yeah, actually.
It's a great coaching strategy.
Yeah, it's very
approachable.
I can't imagine what would have happened if the player had said no. I don't understand, Coach.
No, it doesn't make sense.
I believe Ben Benson's first year in charge of the Cardinals program. Young guy.
Yep, and they have had a bit of a turnaround year. They had 5 wins 2 seasons ago, only 1 last year. And last year, the struggles with scoring were on another level. The Cardinals had, 12 goals on the season coming into Monday, so now 21 goals on the season. I think they finished with 8 goals all of last year.
Hard to win, scoring 8 goals.
Yeah, over a, 16-game schedule or whatever it is.
He scored more than that on Monday night.
Well, not quite, but... Oh, yeah, they did.
Yeah. They did, exactly. They did. 1 more. If my math is correct.
Yeah, I'm easily confused. So, but they've taken steps this season, and we talked about it on Sports Night a couple weeks ago. While they went, there were 3 games in a row, I think they lost them 4-1, 5-1, and and 2-1 or something along those lines. But talks about the importance of just for this program to just make sure you get at least one a night. That's progress. And then to get to the point where it started to seep through, and all of a sudden the dam burst on Monday. It started to let loose on Saturday when they put 4 on the board, and then on Monday it absolutely burst open.
We talked about it in the boys' game, Joe. It's scoring is contagious, and it's one of those things where, just seeing the ball go in and kind of having the confidence that you could do it, as Amari Easley has had to go out due to a bloody nose, and I wonder if that stemmed from the head collision she had in front of the Coon Rapids bench. But back to the offense, yeah, just you see your teammates getting involved, you possess the ball, you're that much more calm and confident with it, and it's a little thing, but the old sports momentum, it can kind of get rolling. And so I have no doubt that what they did on Saturday was key to having them have that 9-1 victory on Monday. And on senior night, sounds like the kids were just having an absolute blast.
They were, and it was a lot of fun to see them celebrate and have that much success. And now they're trying to keep that streak alive here against Champlin Park. Not a lot of action, really. One good, strong shot on each net through the first almost 12 minutes. This one played right across the goal mouth.
Full offside flag is up on the far side. Yeah, you don't necessarily see a lot of teams do that sort of deliberate high line offside trap, but it's a real feast or famine kind of thing when you do, that's your defensive strategy, because it can work wonders if the offside is being called and you're just constantly forcing the forwards to have to come back. But if you get caught, it can lead to one-on-one situations, breakaways against your goaltender. Goalkeeper, I guess goaltender is more of a hockey term.
Ketting playing it back, now sent through by Blanche.
Pitch side Mike's picking up a lot of the chatter. So much communication going on from both teams on the field. Good ball.
In deep and lost out the end line. But it'll be out off the Cardinals, so a corner kick upcoming.
Nice job there by the captain and leading scorer, Olivia Mell, the junior forward. Just making that run down the right wing, and they found her in that space. Earns the first corner kick of the game for the Rebels. Second corner kick.
Sophie Blanchette will serve it to the top of the box. Macri got there first, got it cleared for the Cardinals. Recovered now by Ketting. And lost out of bounds.
Like the boys team, they have 4 captains' armbands. Seniors.
Stella Bone will race out and grab that in front of a couple of oncoming attackers, including Zoe Kuznirik.
We talked about Luke Rising having good instincts and knowing when to come out and get it. Stella Bone working on that, continuing to work on that as well. She did a nice job going to collect it. You really have to own it when it's in that 18-yard box. Ray Stevenson a little befuddled by that foul call.
Well, and I think her argument is, hey, she slowed down to just try and interfere with my pass to the ball. All I did was run around her.
It's obstruction, sir.
That's what they call it. if they call it. Not sure what they called maybe an elbow. Cross in deep. Backery blocks it up out the end line. Another corner kick upcoming.
Great job there by Blanchette, the junior midfielder. Raced by a couple Cardinal defenders and got a nice cross in. And if you're not going to get it on the head of one of your teammates, at least try to earn a corner. And that's exactly what she got out of it.
Blanchette to serve it in again, this time high loft toward the back post. Takes a hop, then sent well wide of the mark by Ariana Egan.
It was not that long ago, Joe, where this Champlin Park team was a real threat. They were a powerhouse. I remember calling them in a couple state quarterfinals in 18, 19. They've obviously fallen on hard times a little bit this year, but this Rebels team has consistently been up there with the likes of Maple Grove and Centennial over the past 5-10 years as one of the best in the NWSC.
Calla battling to get around Maya Thompson, lost out the end line, and it'll be a Cardinal goal kick.
It's a cool night for the fans in the stands, but yeah, it's got to feel good when you're playing out there. It's a little bit of a break from the heat we've had this season.
Yeah, well, and really this is the weather they've been expecting to play in all year. It's still a little bit of warm for that. We've had a little more rain this fall than we did in the summer, but still have not seen a ton of precipitation over the last 5 months. So, and it stayed relatively warm. I mean, we had that unusual hot spell at the beginning of the week or over the weekend, but yeah, you're expecting when you get into October it to be a little chilly out. Apparently, according to the weatherman, it was in the 60s this morning at 7 o'clock, and normally it's this time of year we're in the mid 40s, upper 40s. So considerably warmer, but don't worry, winter will come. It is inevitable.
Come and will stay. Just a matter of how long.
Well, and I'm a Minnesota guy. I love Minnesota winters, a lot of it, but
sometimes
they can continue. They can continue on and on.
Well, I'm getting married October 21st, so I'm just hoping for decent weather through then.
And hopefully beautiful. That should be like peak color.
Yes.
Right? In Minnesota, are you getting?
Yes, that's the goal.
Is it local? Is it?
Yes. Over in the Edina, St. Louis Park area. So.
Okay. Yeah, we'll hope the weather holds and
holds off, and that it's not in the 40s. Anything else, I'll take.
It's not in the 40s. Careful 50s, what you wish for.
Well, 50s.
You say anything else, I'll take. And now it's 20, and there's 3 feet of snow.
I think my goal 45 to 70. And even
it's a nice
70,
wide margin to shoot for.
It is. 55 would be fine. Just something where I'm not sweating like a hog.
Well, I just hope it's going to be a wonderful day for you regardless.
Yes, thank you.
But yes, I hope the weather cooperates for you and your lovely bride. Midway through this first half, no score, and really one good scoring chance on each side. Champlin maybe had a little bit more possession time, but has not found their way into great threatening areas. That one came up and got Stevenson on the arm.
As Rue gets set to return for Coon Rapids.
Yeah, it's good to see Bailey Rao coming back. Still see Jeremy Shepard down working on the right knee of Kalen Green. There's no brace on it of any sort, so that I hope is a good sign. Again, we talk about it all the time. You hate to see any athlete lose any portion of their high school career because it's so finite. It happens so fast, and they should have the opportunity to, compete and enjoy it from start to finish.
And you don't get those times back, right?
No.
They come and go, and especially in Minnesota, the fall and spring sports, those seasons are so short. They're all short, but it just feels like particularly it's a small window. This is the last regular season game. Feels like we just started broadcasting, in late August.
Well, in some respects, we did start broadcasting
that
in late
is
August.
true. That is true.
But in some respects, I'm really new to it because I wasn't at a soccer game until Monday, just as the schedule would have it.
Yep.
We kind of did our schedule. I'm not sure why. We had a couple of early games early in the season, a couple of games right at the end,
which I did, and so it's fun to see the Cardinals and how they've grown from the beginning of the regular season to now. Angelina LeClaire is certainly a player that stuck out to me in the games against Maple Grove and Anoka that I called just a really decisive center back, physical, and really, communicates well back there on that back line.
And just a sophomore.
So she'll be one of those building blocks that Ben Benson uses after all the seniors leave.
They'll still have some very nice pieces, but a couple of.
She's one of them, though.
Absolutely. And Stella Bone and Bailey Rao. Bailey Rao, a junior captain.
I like that concept of having a junior or a sophomore be a captain, just for the continuity's sake.
This one forced out of bounds. Was the closest the Rebels have gotten to actually getting it to an attacking area for as long as they have been down in this end, or it has seemed they have been. They really have not been able to get into the great scoring areas too often. Stevenson cutting back, trying to shed a defender. Pass was intercepted by Hayden Kala. And now Bailey Rao back on the turf.
Good job by Rao to read that play, step in front, and earn the free kick for her team. And yeah, the play that stands out for me in this first half is Stella Bone pushing that shot around the post after that deflection. That was really the best chance either team has had so far.
Well, that and Backery's shot
from distance,
the bullet that went right at Sophia Lehman. But yeah, really, those two are the only real scoring chances we've seen, one at each end. And the one that Bone got a piece of, there was not a lot on that shot, but it looked to be like it was heading just inside the post, and she got just a fingertip on it, just enough to send it wide.
And those ones are always the toughest ones for goalies to deal with, too, because you're expecting the shot to go one way, and then the deflection as the offside flag is once again up on the Rebels on the far side. You're expecting it to go one way, and then you have to adjust mid-flight and react. It's really a reaction save that Stella Bone made. I believe that's the third or fourth offside on the Rebels in the first half.
Yang wins free kick, and it caught Bakri up around the shoulder, so handball will start all over. Again, Champlin trying to work it into the middle. Peach plays it back. The shot from Harbaugh. Shot from a long ways out and taken on a hop by Stella Bone.
Great job of shot blocking by Bakri, and she even bothered the shot there of the Champlin Park midfielder Catherine Kelly, the sophomore. Wasn't able to get much on it. So Sophia Bakri, would you not agree, Joe? She's just generally everywhere for this Coon Rapids team in that midfield position.
Yep, and she and Bailey Rao will be kind of the building blocks for the team as they move forward next year. It'll be interesting to see what they do with Sophia if, because of the loss of Grace, they try and convert her
to striker
and send her up front to attack. She's so good in the midfield, and she can do so much from that position. But, we've talked about it, struggles with scoring. You want to put girls who can handle the ball at the attacking end, give them a chance to be the ones to finish for you. But who knows? I mean, obviously, Kaylin Green will be she plays a middle. She plays midfield as well, but she's another that very aggressive, good athlete, good nose for the ball, and is just a sophomore. So she could be one that's playing all the way up front as well.
Yeah, no question. It is a tough decision, right? Because do you want Bakri to be sort of that do-everything player that she continues or has been this year, or you saw that shot from distance. She has goals in her. Just do you want to play her in that Grace Stevenson role next year?
Down the wing comes Hayden Kala.
Great tackle.
Was that Isabel Allen, I think?
I believe so. Hayden Keller remains down, but now she's up. It was hard to tell with the timing.
No, I think that was Angelina LeClaire.
Oh, LeClaire threw herself in. Okay. It was hard to tell from up here, but it was a desperate time for a tackle. As take a look at the replay here. And LeClaire again. It's exactly what I was talking about before, where LeClaire, it's not always the prettiest, but she throws herself into tackles. That's what you need, right, from your center back. Block shots, make tackles, and come over and take the right angles to do so. Runs out of bounds here, so it'll be a goal kick. But, yeah, you do have to be very careful, though, when you leave your feet in the box, because that's can lead to a lot of penalties. But she got the ball and did her job as a center back.
Yeah, it was not exactly graceful, but it was effective.
Yeah, exactly. Well put. Neither team dominating possession like Champlin Park did in the boys' game.
Well, here's an opportunity for the Rebels. That shot is going to go wide, though, and end up out the end line. And you mentioned they'd already had a handful of offside. I thought that one appeared more offside than some of the previous ones.
Instead, it was shot well wide.
That was Olivia Mell on the far side with the shot.
Yeah, I think she's their real danger player up top, coming off of that right wing. She's been involved in a lot of their goal-scoring opportunities, so one certainly that the Cardinals are aware of defensively. But yeah, like I was saying, but in the boys' game, it was at times like 80-20 possession. Here, it's much more 50-50, and you can tell why these teams are so close to each other, or basically tied in the conference standings.
Yeah, Cardinals have been able to pretty much neutralize almost everything that Champlin Park has tried to do. Rebels maybe a slight, as you mentioned, it was far more tilted possession time in the boys match, but Champlin girls probably have had a little bit more possession time. Here's another opportunity. Great job getting back by Bailey Rao. She just outran the Rebel attacker and took it away.
Tatum Peach, I believe, was the one that was in on goal, and Rao, just a great angle to cut off the attack. Nice ball through by Easley, and then Peach, Rao just read it and wanted it more, got there ahead of her.
Cardinals goal kick stopped up by Easley.
For me so far, Easley's been the most impressive player for Champlin Park. As Cardinals earn another free kick.
A little bit of contact and the whistle blows.
I thought that was for a handball. I didn't even think it was for the contact, but yeah, and that's the thing, is like this game is being reffed differently than the previous one, different refs. So as players, you just have to adjust, figure out how tight the whistle is, and then adjust accordingly. Again, Sophia Bakri in the middle of action.
Yeah, I was going to say Cardinals momentarily getting it close to the good attacking area.
Another foul committed this time.
Now Leclerc cut her off, took the ball, took a little push, and gets the whistle.
Kyla Kading whistled for the infraction, but yeah, Bakri tried to play a through ball there, and both teams just looking for that sort of finishing touch in the 18-yard box to test the goalkeepers, who have not had to do a ton here in this first half. They've been active, they've touched the ball, but they have not had to make really too many difficult saves.
Well, and again, you talk about their records are nearly identical. Very similar seasons for both teams. I think Champlin Park has maybe been a little more steady when the Cardinals have roller coastered a little bit between, feast or famine on the offensive end, and sometimes on the defensive end they've given up, a fair amount of goals in a couple of those contests that they would like to have back. But the goals are going to be at a premium in this contest. Because
first score wins, maybe.
Perhaps because neither team has a real potent offense, but both teams also generally play pretty good defense. The Cardinals have had a couple of games, like I said, that they'd like to have back, but for the most part, they've been sound on the defensive end.
And a Langworthy back, and you kind of wonder, Joe, or I've wondered this certainly, Langworthy's been battling injuries all season long, and how much different this Cardinals season might have been had she been fully healthy.
Yeah, she was sidelined at the very beginning of the season.
And I think she's gutted through a lot of those injuries, at least in the games I've seen her in, but I don't know if she's ever been fully healthy.
Easily pushing it ahead too far as Bone comes out and scoops it up in front of number 21 that is not on our roster.
Don't you love that?
Xaviera Bonifacius. It's a long story, inside joke. But it's soccer, so we have time to tell it.
That's right.
This happened, I don't know, 5+ years ago, that there was someone on the football team that did not have a number, and I don't remember if it was not a Cardinal, but we were talking about it and what do we call him, and Adam Tronson, head wrestling coach and who also does the PA for football, brought up the name Xaviera Bonifacius. So now anytime we get into a game and there's someone on the field that is not on the roster, they become Xavier, or in this case, Xavieria Bonifacius.
I love that.
Langworthy was on the run, but their first is Lehman to scoop it up. We're under 5 minutes remaining in this opening half. No score between Coon Rapids and Champlin Park.
Of course, no overtime in regular season soccer this year, so if it ends in a scoreless draw, each team will pick up a point. And
I wonder what thinking or what voting went into that. Was it that they just weren't seeing those 2 5-minute overtimes resulting in a win, so why play the extra time? If it's a tie, it's a tie. I always wonder about rule changes like that, if what went into the decision.
Yeah, no, it's a great question, and to be honest, I'm not sure, but I do think that it's a positive rule change. You have a standing scoring system in place that allows for ties. So, yeah, maybe it's just that the 10 minutes wasn't yielding wins, or a scheduling thing because of 5 and 7 doubleheaders.
2v1, cross out front, turned away, but right back to the Rebels. Continuing the attack, a shot, sliding block, and great clear by Bailey Rao.
Unbelievable. Slides and
that
then
was
gets
Sophia
up.
Bakri, sorry.
Slides and gets up and now leads the counterattack. She is everywhere, like we said.
This is Rao. Stopped up.
See, that's what you might be missing if you move her to that sort of central
Right.
lone striker position. So, but just the reaction to go to ground and then get up and clear the ball. Unbelievable athleticism from Sophia Bakri, but yeah, I don't think it's been a bad change. You'd have to talk to the coaches to see what they think, but at the end of the day, yeah, it's each team gets a point out of the deal.
And I always thought it was interesting that the way the high school league decided to do their overtimes was 2 5-minute overtimes, and it was all you can eat instead of a golden goal situation, which it would be if you got to overtime in the playoffs. So maybe that factors in too, right? Because that's a game that goes to overtime that doesn't end in a win, because one team might score in the first half, the other team might answer in the second half of the overtime, and you still have a score after 10 extra minutes.
And it's a short season too, so maybe they just didn't, from a sports science perspective, didn't want to have another 10 minutes of soccer in some of these games on these athletes with games, every couple of days. We said that Cardinals just played a game on Monday, so usually a couple-day turnaround, and trying to get all these games in the regular season.
Trying to feed Maya Thomas on the run, and it just missed her.
But, yeah, if I had to guess, if I had to put it on one thing, I would say that it's probably the fact that, these 5 and 7 p.m. games, they're trying to keep them, at 5 and 7. They're trying to keep it on a schedule for these double headers.
Yeah, it does cause problems, I suppose, if the game that goes to overtime is the early game.
Certainly does in hockey when the JV game goes to overtime before varsity starts.
Ball still loose, finally cleared, unfortunately, out the end line. So another corner kick coming up, just 30 seconds left in the half.
Bakri again cleaning up the danger, but the Cardinals living dangerously. They got to sort things out in the back line.
Blanchette's serve was first touched by the Cardinals. They're able to clear, get it back out to midfield before it gets turned around. Into the final 10 seconds. Bailey Rao battling, able to force it out the sideline instead of the end line. And we go to the half in a scoreless tie. You're watching girls soccer on CTN. First half stats after this. Back at the Cardinals Stadium, Coon Rapids and Champlin Park in a scoreless tie. Would not have surprised me before we started if you told me it would be a scoreless tie at the half.
Yep, Stella Bone coming up big, though. This is maybe the best chance of the half from Sophia Bakri for the Cardinals. Lasers a shot there, but most of the chances probably coming the Champlin Park way, but a great job by players like Sophia Bakri to get her body in the way and block shots, and that's why we stand scoreless at halftime.
40 more minutes to play. It's the regular season finale, and the second half is next on CTN.
Want to know the who, what, when, and where of Coon Rapids? Then follow CTN on social media. It's that simple. Whether it's Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, keep up with local news, sports, and events. And the people who make our community such a great place to live. So give us a follow, like, share, or subscribe, and always be the first to know what's up in Coon Rapids. That's CTN, helping you stay connected.
Back at the Cardinals Stadium, second half of this girls' soccer season finale, regular season finale, I should say. Scoreless as we start the second. Olivia Mell getting around a defender, puts a shot that's just going to sail wide and go out the end line and become a goal kick.
That was the best offensive sequence for either team all game. And it was simple, just a ball into the channel for Mel, and then she cuts it back on the overplay. Rao just a little bit out of control on that closeout. She just cuts it back and then flashes a shot just wide of the post, but that had plenty of pace. There was no way Stella Bone was going to save that. So Cardinals fortunate that it goes wide.
Bakri had it stolen away by Blanchette. She is denied access to the scoring zone. Sends it out the end line, and we have another goal kick.
Champlin Park starting the second half on the front foot. Cardinals have to match the energy and the intensity, but they've turned it over several times already just outside their 18-yard box.
Long shot, well wide, another goal kick.
And that one looked like it might have beaten Bone, but she had it well covered and just ushers it out of play. And again, that's that spatial awareness that I talked about with Bone, where she's always aware of where she is in relation to her posts, and she knows what's going wide.
Never want to be too confident of that.
No. Yeah, you don't want to usher the ball into the back of your net, but
I would much rather you go outside the post a little bit than not quite far enough. Rebels trying to build an attack down the right wing, but slowed and turned around by Rao, and now that pass off the feet of Ariana Egan and out of bounds.
We are getting a coaching clinic from this Champlin Park head coach as you know, as it would have it, he's just kind of right in the line of the microphone on the sidelines, so we get all the inside goop. Turning with it is Easley. Easley with some good footwork there, and now trying to be physical, keeping that ball in possession, and she does earn herself. Rao disagrees, but she does earn Champlin Park a corner.
So Blanchette will head to the far corner, and she's shown the ability to serve it wherever she really wants, and that's what you need from the person handling your corners. This time went short side. The Cardinals able to snuff it out quickly and get it all the way to the other end.
Cardinals need to push up a little bit to try to keep the Rebels from getting it past midfield. First foul goes the way of Coon Rapids. Part of it is that the Rebels coach is not quiet, but
Rao will run onto this one, send it toward the corner. One touch into the middle. Thomas's shot is deflected into the near corner and now cleared away out of play by Egan.
I like that the Cardinals don't seem to be being too exact with their offensive attack. They're getting it, they're direct, and they're getting shots off, even though the Rebels have blocked a few.
Rao trying to get this into the middle where Bakri was waiting, but was turned around. Good step up there from LeClaire.
See, this is better for Coon Rapids, pinning Champlin Park, pressing them, and not allowing them to get out of their own end.
Good steal by Rao near midfield. Get it turned around momentarily.
Trying to switch that field, tilt it down toward the westward goal to our left.
That one came up Got the hand of Callie Alphen.
She's had a quiet night so far, but she's also integral in the Coon Rapids attack.
And the future of the program, just a freshman.
Once again, Bone gets there first, comes off her line just ahead of the onrushing attacker in the form of Carissa Brew.
Rebels again trying to build something, interrupted by Hafslin, puts it into the middle. Alphen chips it out wide. Long shot going just wide for Stevenson.
You know, and we haven't touched on it too much, but obviously the loss of Kaylin Green, all of a sudden you've lost your attacker down that right wing. And so everybody has to shift. Everyone has to do a little bit different of a role. So
yeah,
her injury is early in the game.
First minute
was a blow to the Cardinals' attack. Now, how do they adjust? How does Ben Benson adjust the formation and put his players in different positions to succeed? A lot of times teams, you know, with right-footed players especially, like to attack down that right wing. So there's no doubt it is a loss, and hopefully she'll be able to be back for the playoffs. I assume those pairings will be announced around Friday or Saturday.
Wow, Bone way out and got there just in front of Easley. That's your young goalkeeper going out and challenging one of their team's leading scorers for the ball 30 yards away from her net.
Yeah, that was aggressive. And I asked that question because I didn't think Stella Bone would come all the way out and challenge Easley, but she got there first and she had to.
Well, yeah, once she committed, and we talked about that during the boys' game, talking about the way Luke Rising plays the position. Once you decide you're going to go get that ball, there can be nothing but getting to that ball. You can't go halfway and then go, maybe not.
Amara Easley, 2 goals on the season, second on the team in goals, tied with Kayla Keating and Olivia Mell, their leading scorer, 3 goals and 3 assists. So 10 and 2 are what the Cardinals defense really has to mark.
Here is Mel, tried to leave it off for Egan, a little miscommunication. Mel got it back, disrupted by Hafslin. Cardinals able to clear it. Langworthy keeps it in along the near sideline.
Good ball.
Ahead for Stevenson. Stevenson. Marked closely, ball tipped out of bounds by Riley Sissenbath.
Stevenson right into the face, and it's going to be a penalty. Handball.
Handball, was it inside? No, it was just outside the box.
Oh, I thought I saw him pointing to the spot.
Yep, that's the right call. It definitely hit her in the hand.
Looked like it may have come off. I thought it had come off her face, Carissa Brew, but
it's a great opportunity right here.
Sure is.
They're going to put a 5-player lineup in front of her. Try to go over the top and spun it wide. Out of bounds, goal kick upcoming.
She was trying to go for that upper 90 in the right-hand corner. There was no way the keeper was going to get over there, and she just missed. That did not miss by much, Joe. Right idea from Grace Stevenson.
Yeah, that's a hand right there.
Oh, wow.
I'm pretty sure she got a piece of it. That was Mel getting a hand up.
How do you miss that as a ref? Literally jumping and...
Well, they didn't miss that handball.
Oh, my gosh.
But, yeah, you can't...
I mean, maybe... is that an instinctive reaction when you jump in the wall to throw your hands up? I don't know, but that was
Because at that position, if you do touch it with your hand, it should be a penalty kick.
Oh, of course. What's interesting?
Bowen plays it on a high hop. Calm, cool, collected, was never concerned about that, despite the fact that there were 3 Champlin Park forwards rushing right at her.
What's interesting is that Stevenson and nobody else on the field that I saw even appealed for a handball. So I'm not sure, the ref clearly missed it. I'm not sure they saw it really either.
I saw her hand go up. I'm not sure. I mean, the replay made it look like she definitely did get a piece of it. But, yeah, if she got a piece of it with the hand raised like that. But, yeah, you're right, too. Stevenson didn't argue that. And Stevenson really immediately argued the initial handball that got her the free kick in the first place.
So, yeah, it seems like everyone missed it. But from the replay, yeah, definitely not in a natural position, right? That's what the rule says. It has to be in a natural position. And jumping up is not. So we remain scoreless.
I did not know that that's the way the rule works.
That's the language of the rule is if the hand is in an unnatural position. However, the debate is always, okay, well, what's that? What does that mean?
Right.
Like,
leaves
it's still
leaves
subjective.
a lot for interpretation.
Absolutely. And that's why you have, controversies.
My hand just naturally caught the ball. It's natural.
When a ball comes to my hand, I catch it. That's
Yes.
what I do. Something your son might say as a former baseball catcher.
It was definitely not something I played soccer a little later into life than he did, but that was something that I always struggled with, was not putting my hands up, catch it with your chest, I just...
It takes some practice. It feels like if the Cardinals are going to score, it's going to come from a set piece. They are getting their share of free kicks in good positions.
Well, this one's from a long ways out.
Sure.
Isabel Allen will get it right back and then serve it down that right wing again. And
Stevenson earns another foul.
They blew the whistle. He pointed the wrong way. I was a little confused there.
So was I.
How he was going to call that.
Stevenson looked confused as well.
Yeah, it was a solid body check by Grace Stevenson, and a little collision, no foul, but now there will be a whistle as Samantha Harbaugh kind of got rolled over. Both number 11s going for the ball. Isabel Allen rolled over the top of Harbaugh, and Harbaugh a little slow to get up. Yeah, I don't really recognize any of the Champlin Park girls' names from hockey either. It's a pretty common crossover from hockey to soccer. And of course, these two schools share one hockey team.
So no Bluebirds on the roster, huh?
That
you can see.
Not that,
you would know.
I mean, and somebody will probably be like, well, of course I am. I'm a third line wing that gets 5 minutes a game last year, but will be a big part this year. Great. And I'm not in that season, so you could probably put their whole starting lineup there, and I'd be like, a couple of those names seem familiar. Not sure why.
Talk about a program that's had a successful run the last couple of years.
Well, yeah, that was the thought behind initially going to the co-op. Again, Bowen comes out, gets it in front of the charging Rebels. The first co-op was with Spring Lake Park in the Catbird Co-op that lasted, I think, 2 seasons, maybe 3. And then Champlin Park was actually a more natural fit because in youth, those 2 programs play together. Langworthy trying to cross. That stopped up.
Really good passage of play right there from Coon Rapids, just pinging the ball around, playing it into the channels. Grace Stevenson involved as usual, so along with Sophia Backery, but this has been better from Coon Rapids after Champlin Park had the better of the first 6-7 minutes.
Good turn by Mel along the sideline, and she's going to lose control right in front of her own bench. And that is, I will say, clearly the ball still ran out of bounds there, but it's so much better now with the turf. Since the turf was put in, easily takes the rough end of a collision near midfield.
Sort of sandwiched in between Cardinal players. She's been banged up a couple times in this game. Free kick, though, for Coon Rapids. She did almost just sort of run into the back.
I was just going to say, she kind of ran into the fray. I mean, credit for being, trying to force the turnover and, being aggressive, but I was going to say, it ran out of bounds there, but it's so much better now than it was when it was turf, when it was grass, and the field had to be crowned for runoff. And now you have a completely flat field. And there used to be in the very corner to our right, near side, there was like sewer drain. And so it really dipped down low in that very corner.
Sounds
of the
dangerous.
I mean, it was far enough off field, but the surrounding, grass was rounded to make sure that everything ran to the drain. Mel trying to cut back in again. Denied by LeClaire, and that will draw the whistle. And
now,
this will be a dangerous spot for Champlin Park.
Yeah, a little bit more of an angle, but still certainly close enough to go for goal as Stella Bone tries to line up a small wall.
Sophie Blanchette will serve it to the back line. Nobody could get a header on it, and it ends up out the end line. And the Cardinals get fortunate because they had bodies there. It was served up well by Blanchette, just nobody able to connect with it on the back end.
Yep, just a little chip to the back post, and
she did get a header on it, just spun wide.
Wow, that's an opportunity that Zoe Kuznierik would like back, because it should have been 1-0. And Ben Benson was coming down the line. You could hear him over our broadcast talking about how there were unmarked players, and sure enough, one of them got a free header.
Yeah, I thought she just missed it, but she got it, just sent it just wide.
She did just miss it. Just missed the net.
Yes. But yeah, there was definitely bodies there, and best scoring opportunity for either team so far tonight. We're almost midway through the second half. Still in a scoreless tie between 4 and 10 teams.
Both 1 and 9 in
Backery.
Northwest Suburban Conference play. Twins have advanced, in case you're wondering.
That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, series sweep.
It gets a whole lot harder from here.
Yeah, 2-0. Well, you got to win the first to get to the second, and now the Astros await. And I have to imagine the home games for that series will be raucous.
So we have confirmation that CTN will not be covering the football game on Friday night. CrimsonFootball.com is going to cover the Maple Grove homecoming game.
Now, see, that's interesting because I know for a fact that CCX does some Maple Grove games.
I would assume that they did. That was my first thought when I heard that.
So, crimsonfootball.com, I don't know if it's a regular thing for them to do the home games.
They have a website, Crimson, the Crimson Sports Network, broadcast partner of Maple Grove High School.
Oh.
So it's perhaps CCX only does Maple Grove games on the road.
Could be. I don't know.
And maybe they only do their home games, and there were 4. They only get 4 games. They're not going to give one up to the kids from across the river with their fancy truck and their highfalutin, high-definition cameras.
And their high production quality.
And their questionable announcers. Shot from a ways out. Stella Bone is there. We stay scoreless.
Do they know we have Joel Sipper? That's what I want to know.
That is the question. I mean, if they were aware of the folklore behind the Minneota Masher that is now Neil Highlights Hennon, they would certainly give way. But that's unfortunate. It's the second football game this season, regular season, that we are going to miss out on as a CTN crew. And we definitely wish the Cardinals the best. We will see them back here for their homecoming next Thursday night against the Blaine Bengals. And as I mentioned earlier during this contest, I'm calling it. This is the year the Cardinals beat the Bengals. Haven't played each other, obviously, in the last 7 years, but the Cardinals in our tenure, Howie and I's tenure here, 26 now, starting our 27th season, I believe that only includes 2. 1 for sure, and maybe 2 wins for Coon Rapids over Blaine in football.
Long-time powerhouse, right, in the 90s, I believe. Multiple state championship trips, or trips to the Dome at least, in the bank.
Did. They had a state title in 1989, in which Tommy Newman stepped out of bounds on the 2-point conversion. No good. Cretin-Durham Hall wins. The only person that's for is my wife, and she's probably not watching, but my wife was actually the equipment manager for the football team that year, and
so close.
I like to tease that they lost when they in fact won, because Tommy Newman, who went on to be a goaltender for the Gopher hockey team, was their quarterback, and they scored a touchdown late against Cretin-Durham Hall, and rather than kick the extra point for the tie, they ran a 2-point conversion. Tommy Newman very close to the sidelines, but apparently inbounds. I like to dispute that and say he was out of bounds and that Cretin-Durham Hall should have been the state champions. However, but yeah, they were for years. When we first started in the late 90s, Blaine was the cream of the crop in the Northwest Suburban. They were, of course, that was still during Coach Dave Nelson's tenure before he went to Minnetonka. That program was a powerhouse, to be certain.
Pre-Andover days, right? This
yes.
was before Andover was a...
Yep, Andover, I believe, was built in 2002.
Do you remember calling some good Blaine hockey teams?
Oh, a lot. They had, when Dave Oss was their coach, I think they won state championship or section championship 5 or 6 years in a row. Nick Bukestead. The moment I saw him as a sophomore, that guy was, you could tell he was going places. He was impressive in high school. Riley Tufte, who later won Mr. Hockey out of Blaine as well. He was a lot of fun to watch. Of course, the Brodzinski boys all went through there, and they were all pretty talented. But Blaine, it seemed that the hockey program was a little more up and down than was the football program. Here's a great opportunity getting in. A great sliding save by Stella Bone. Just came out and took it off the foot of Hayden Kalla.
And Kalla, I believe, is shaken up. Certainly looks like it. Great recovery, though, as Rao bothered things, and then that kind of just nudged her off it a little bit, and Bone comes out and takes it off her toes. And again, another fine defensive effort.
Well, and the Rebels have picked up the pace here in the second half, pushing a little bit more to the net rather than working the perimeter and trying to set up the crosses. And again, good things happen when you go to the net. And here in the second half, the Cardinals, really outside of the one opportunity, they have not been at the opposite end of the field.
Momentum has certainly swung back in the favor of the Rebels. Good effort by Catherine Kelly to no avail. Anna Langworthy back for Coon Rapids. It's starting to get late, though. We've passed the midway point now, and talked about at halftime we might be headed for a scoreless draw.
Well, and realistically, as much as the Cardinals would love to score a goal and get a win and be three in a row going to the playoffs, they'd take a draw out of this one.
Absolutely. 3-game unbeaten streak.
Langworthy from a tough angle, and that's going to be a corner kick because of the way that Lehman caught it. She's arguing that she was already out of bounds, and so.
Well, and she thought she'd kept it out of play because you see her just try to reach the ball over, but I think that's the right call. She didn't handle it cleanly, and so.
And one of her feet came down in bounds.
Missed on the punch there, but nobody for the Cardinals there to get it.
And it rolls all the way out the far side.
And who's back in but their leading scorer, Olivia Mell. Back up top. The alertness of Stella Bone, Joe. I think that's been the key here in the second half, and the reason we're
she's
goalless.
come out and taken away a couple of balls from attackers wearing Rebel garb a ways from the net. Again, she went 30 yards out to challenge easily and won the challenge. So yeah, that has definitely been a factor, but the fact that Champlin Park is creating some more legitimate scoring opportunities for themselves here in the second half has got to be a little bit of a concern for the Cardinals not getting the same kind of opportunity at their offensive end.
Yeah, they're just really playing those long through balls and having their players run onto it. But thankfully for the Cardinals, like Bailey Rao and company, have been really excellent. Rao's been so poised back there.
Reichel crossing, that kind of crossed up the Cardinal defense. Able to get it cleared a bit and now out of bounds.
How many times have we seen Rao chase down, run down the ball and run down the attacker who runs onto it, and then Cooley just getting to the ball, the speed and the presence and the poise to turn around with it, do a little Cruyff turn around with it, and rather than just going back through her goalkeeper. That just takes a remarkable amount of defensive poise, and that's what the Cardinals have had in spades here tonight.
Rao in the corner, trying to keep it in, and pressure coming away with it is Ketting. Keating can't keep it in on the end line, and it'll be another goal kick.
Cardinals defense bailed out there. In that instance, you'd rather see Rao just tap it out of bounds, and then your defense can reset. You can get more bodies behind the ball, and things can get organized.
I don't think she knew the pressure was there until it was too late.
Yeah, possibly. She tried to keep it in, but yeah, in that instance, when you have a player on your back, you really just want to get rid of it. And as the Cardinals are in a foul here, starting to get late. It's here second half.
Yeah, we talked about it early in the game. The two teams very similar, don't score a ton of goals, but play pretty sound defensively. Could be a game where first goal wins. And that is certainly looking more and more the case here as we get later and later into the second half.
Grace Stevenson set to return for Coon Rapids, and obviously important part of the offense to have her up top.
Yeah, they want to have her fresh when it matters most.
Still have Langworthy up top, and Stevenson will be supporting on the right wing, looks like. Both coaches have done a nice job of rotating their benches and making sure their players stay fresh.
Easily back in for Champlin Park. Talk about getting those top goal scorers on the field for the final 10 minutes of a scoreless draw. Yeah, and you mentioned there's another long through ball trying to just use their speed to get behind the defense. You talk about when the Cardinals were a more consistent competitor in this conference, and they were for a number of years one of those teams, along with Champlin Park, that contended for the conference title year after year, and a lot of times that was their strategy with head coach Jeff DeJoy. He was very good at recruiting and getting athletes out who had a lot of speed. And they played a lot of through balls and just won a lot of races.
And then you don't need to be a prolific striker of the ball. You just have to, race in, and then you basically pass it into the back of the net. If you can get by the goalie or beat the goaltender to their right or left.
Played into the middle, just out of the reach of Schellenberg. Cardinals able to clear it. Stevenson can't get to it, and then not the touch she wanted, but Langworthy able to settle near midfield.
Cardinals doing a nice job of playing it back and then going on runs.
Uh-oh. Here's an opportunity coming in for Kylie Ketting. The shot, the save, and the cover for Stella Bone.
That was right at where she couldn't have it, basically. And meanwhile, for Centennial, you had Kaylee Stegman, I believe, tripping over, oh no, Rao. That's Rao, actually, who tripped over, kind of shoved it in the back. So hopefully she's okay. Kind of took a push into the post. But, yeah, she basically shot at the one place she couldn't, which was right at Bone. Rao seems to be no worse for wear. They stop the clock. If you're going to have any goalkeeper, Joe, run out to the 30-yard line or run 30 yards outside of their goal, it's probably the cross-country runner you want.
Well, I'd rather a sprinter, but I'm sure she does some of that too.
Yeah, but she's not going to come back all winded or anything.
No.
Also would be good if the Cardinals were down a goal and she did one of those things where keepers come up for a last-minute corner. But usually that's so they're another body in the box to head it home. Not sure Stella Bone's winning any headers.
She's not the largest body on the pitch.
Diminutive.
Oh, good play.
Very nicely done. Very nicely done.
Coming over, smartly playing it out off the Champlin attacker, getting the goal kick for her squad.
Rao, again, so poised back there, always knows the angles to take, and just those last-ditch interventions. How many times have we seen that from her and Stella Bone tonight? Stellabone related to Derby, I assume?
Yes, they would
So
be
there's-
brother and sister.
Yes, so they're another, we were talking about sibling
Yeah.
combos, so that's another one.
Absolutely. Would be odd if they were not. No, we're not related.
Multiple Bone families.
that are still completely unrelated. You can have a lot of Smiths, Johnsons, Petersons. That one.
Ooh. That was awfully close. That was awfully close, and it forces a corner.
Blanchette getting just enough room to let that go. And yeah, right through her hands. And fortunately for Bone and the Cardinals, just wide.
And if she's susceptible to anything, it's those high shots that kind of arc in underneath the crossbar.
Blanchette to the top of the box. Shot goes well wide. Off the foot of Hayden Kalla.
Well, I think at this point, Joe, you talked about it earlier in this half. I think the Cardinals would settle for a scoreless draw right now. They'd take the point. Both teams probably would finish the conference season.
Yeah, both teams. Both teams come in on a 2-game win streak, doing everything they can to try and keep as much momentum as possible headed into the postseason. At this point, according to MinnesotaSports.net, the Cardinals are in the 8th spot of the section. However, that has Cambridge Isani ahead of them by a fraction of a point on the QRF ranking, and they just beat Cambridge Isani 4-2. So I would assume that that's one of those seeding things at the coaches meeting where you've got a pretty good argument to bump yourself from that 7th spot up to 6, considering you beat them and beat them soundly 4-2.
Foul committed here, and so it's a real chance, another good chance. Great pressure applied, forcing the turnover and then earning the free kick.
Oh yeah, she was tripped up. That was Callie Alphin providing the pressure. She was tripped up, and then as the defender went to go around her, kind of caught her in the head with her knee.
Oh, she went for goal there. She went
did
for the
go
near
short
post.
side and
wow,
hits the side of the net.
Grace Stevenson sort of looking to the bench, but not a bad idea. Try to catch Lehman off her line. And both coaches can point to this. Hey, we finished the season with a point, with a clean sheet, and our defense is sound and tight heading into playoff action, whatever the seeding may be.
That was a really nice step up again by LeClaire there that forced the initial turnover near midfield. Rao just stepped and turned and watched 3 Champlin Park attackers go running by.
Nobody expects that little Cruyff turn that she does, and she's done that several times. Very gutsy.
Shot and a goal, and Champlin Park is on the board with just 3:40 left in the contest. And it's Mel getting loose down the left wing and finally getting on the board.
Yeah, that's a tough one for the Cardinals late. They attacked on the left wing this time, and they're kind of stretched thin. It's a 2-on-1, and once Rao couldn't stop Mel, Bone could do very little about it.
And so now a little bit of urgency and desperation for the Cardinals if they want to try and get back to a draw. There's still time. However, with the limited amount of possession and real scoring chances for the Cardinals, it's a little bit of a bigger ask. Bakri trying to force it in there quickly.
I'd like to apologize to the Cardinal soccer fans out there, the broadcaster's jinx. He started talking about the scoreless draw that we were seeing, and of course Champlin Park gets that late goal. Still a chance though here for Coon Rapids.
Bakri on the free kick. Going direct on a bounce, blocked to the corner by Lehman.
Yeah, I'm not sure Lehman needed to dive necessarily, but better safe than sorry in those instances. And you just want to clear the danger, especially with such short time left in the half. Now it's Champlin Park with an opportunity to finish on a 3-game winning streak and start the season 2-0, end the season 3-0. And we'll just ignore that 10-game losing streak
right
in the middle of the year.
Uh-oh. And now it's easily working down the left side, works it into the middle, has some help there. Rao able to get in the way and at least disrupt Mel.
It's going to be a corner. Rao frustrated that she couldn't do more, but oh no, it's going to be a goal kick. I beg your pardon.
I was going to say it should be a goal kick.
I wasn't sure what Rao was throwing her hands up for, but great job again by her of tracking back. And anytime she's had to chase down a Champlin Park attacker, she's been able to do so. You hear Ben Benson talking to his team. He wants more bodies forward with the team trailing by a goal.
And trying to hustle up the punt from the keeper, Stella Bone. Again, get that ball to the other end of the field where you can put pressure on. Langworthy works it back. Rao caught a cleat, and here's Easley running onto it.
Again, LeClaire just sprawling, making the tackle. Hopefully she's okay, but she came over and good recovery for her teammate Rao. Those two, quite a fullback pairing, quite a center back pairing for the Cardinals.
Corner kick for Ariana Egan. That Bakri went in position, took the bump and the foul, but we're under a minute remaining. Cardinals trailing 1-0.
Yeah, they got to take this quick and hustle up. Need to push up.
Stop up by Bakri. She'll play it ahead. Good pressure in the middle from Grace Stevenson, and this is going to be a corner kick with 20 seconds left. Wouldn't that be something?
Yeah, they got to hustle it up. Stevenson, short time, got to get everybody forward, including Stella Bone.
And here comes Stella Bone. Served into the middle. It skips away from Del Frat. Cardinals can't get a good strike on it, and Champlin Park is going to hold on for the 1-0 win on that late goal by Olivia Mell.
Yeah, game effort here tonight from the Cardinals. Just too little too late with that offensive urgency. They lived dangerously all second half, Joe, with those through balls. And ultimately, Olivia Mell doing what she does as the leading scorer for this Champlin Park team and slotting one past Stella Bone. And it ruined what was otherwise a pretty impressive defensive effort here tonight. A couple Grace Stevenson free kicks went close, but Cardinals lose a tough one late here, heading into the playoffs starting next week.
Yeah, and again, that yet to be decided, and we will have a soccer playoff game next week. We think on Tuesday night there will be a game. We will be somewhere.
And I'll be on the bowling broadcast.
And you will be doing the bowling broadcast on Thursday. And we'll be doing prep football on Thursday. So, and you'll come on over and join us at the homecoming game as well. But that's what we have coming up. Again, the final score, 1-0 in favor of Champlin Park. We want to thank every athlete for joining us and continuing to support everything we do here at CTN. For the entire crew, including Howie Shapiro, who is not here, and Bill Hupp, who is, I'm Joe Young, saying goodnight.